You know, it's actually kind of coincidental, actually, that in the last episode they had Christopher Reeve, who was more known to be Superman in the Richard Donner movies. And then in this episode, we actually have Lynda Carter, who was known to be Wonder Woman back in the late 70s. It's actually kind of a funny thing that I kind of realized. And it's a little bit too bad that in the episode afterwards, it actually wasn't Adam West who was known as Batman, so we could have had, like, an entire DC thing going on. Hey guys, this is Animat, and welcome back to the Muppet Vlog. Now this time we're going to be looking into the 19th episode of Season 4 of The Muppet Show, which features Lynda Carter. Now, if you would like to have a little bit more info on who Lynda Carter is, she is actually known to be an actress, a singer, a songwriter, and at one point she was Miss World America. But her most famous and iconic role was actually being portrayed as Wonder Woman back in the late 70s TV show. So before Gal Gadot, it was pretty much her that was known to be the definitive Wonder Woman. And then afterwards, she would have a prominent career in appearing in numerous of TV movies, and some projects that she appeared in is actually a few more DC projects. Some of these would include Smallville and even Supergirl. And she even appeared in some movies as well. She was in Super Troopers, she was also in Sky High as the principal, and she was also in the film adaptation of The Dukes of Hazzard. Now, going into the episode that she appeared in, it was actually rather interesting, where in the last episode we had Christopher Reeves, and it was mostly focusing on him being this, like, hunky, talented man. But then you have this episode with Lynda Carter, and they really did focus on the aspect of Wonder Woman, since the entire theme of this episode is pretty much superhero themed, where all the Muppets, except for Kermit, and maybe Sam the Eagle as well, they all want to be superheroes, and they pretty much all got this course on how to become a superhero. So they're basically all training backstage to become a superhero, to learn how to fly, to have x-ray vision, super strength, and all that kind of stuff. So basically, that's kind of the setup what they have. It's not necessarily a story, but kind of the synopsis or the scenario that's going on in order to bring out a lot of, like, comedic antics, like all the gags, all the jokes that would come out of it. And a lot of it can have its over-the-top moments, a lot of its Muppet-style gags, and it's definitely a lot of fun to watch. It was definitely hilarious, and I would actually consider it one of the funnier episodes of this season. Considering that they really went all out with the superhero stuff. Especially, like, there's this one moment where you actually see Fozzie just, like, swinging through a rope backstage, and then suddenly, like, knocks down a door, and you also get, like, Muppets flying everywhere and just falling everywhere. So it definitely was a lot of fun. You do get a lot of, like, slapstick comedy, but it's just definitely fantastic, and it's delivered in a way that only the Muppets can bring out. So, like, this is something that you can only find in the Muppet Show, so it was definitely cute and a lot of fun to see. And with Lynda Carter, like, they don't really emphasize on her being Wonder Woman, or at least Lynda Carter doesn't focus on herself being Wonder Woman. It's just mostly Lynda Carter being Lynda Carter, and you can definitely tell that she does have a lot of talents. Many of the appearances that she would have throughout this episode, like, she would sing The Rubber Band Man, and then she would also sing Orange Colored Sky, and then also appear in a few places here and there. And I have to admit, considering that you do have this entire superhero motif, and the Muppets doing all these crazy things by trying to be a superhero, and also some of these sketches that do appear, this, I would have to say, it's definitely one of the most technically impressive episodes. And I think on that level, the most impressive one that I have seen, or like really the standout moment in terms of the technical achievement that they have made with the puppetry, it would have to be with the Rubber Band Man. Especially, like, you see Lynda Carter just singing backstage, and then when she goes on stage, like, you actually do see these rubber bands just playing, like, well, not rubber bands, but like these Muppet-style rubber bands where their bodies are just rubber bands and they're just plucking themselves to play, you know? It's actually pretty cool to check out. But even at that, there are some other impressive Muppets as well. Like, at the beginning, the opening number is actually this whole human sacrifice motif, and Janice would sing A Little Help From My Friends. And the stone god that she would play in front of him is actually quite amazing to look at. Where, like, he's the kind of god where he has, like, 6 hands and has a beak as well. So, like, definitely a lot of things were going on with that Muppet, and it was definitely fascinating to watch. Oh, and then there's also another one that's technically impressive, is actually Wonder Pig, and that's actually a pretty cool bit as well. Like, it's meant as a massive parody. You could tell that, like, they really try to be so over-dramatic with the whole scenario that's going on, that apparently, like, in this little household, they're being invaded by this giant chicken, so it's up to Miss Piggy, who turns into Wonder Pig, to go and save the day. And that one, what they pretty much did is that the giant chicken is not a Muppet chicken. They actually legitimately use a real chicken, and by special effect photography, you see the giant chicken just invading the house, and you see, like, all the pigs inside, like, they're just so worried. And even when the chicken walks out backstage, like, you could tell that, like, they did make it large to just walk away. And even though I'm actually really surprised that they didn't make, like, a little moment where Gonzo would make a comment, it's still actually pretty cool to check out. And, but going back into the episode itself, like, I did praise upon the technological aspects, but the other moments that do happen in here creatively, I would have to say it is rather interesting, because not only there was, like, this whole superhero theme, but there is also a little bit of a Beatles theme in a way. Nothing to do with the rest of the episode, but really, like how the last episode is Christopher Reeve and this one is Lynda Carter, it's more of a coincidence that this suddenly happened, where the opening number, like I said, it was A Little Help From My Friends. And then suddenly, afterwards, a little later, you actually have this entire, like, city top motif, and you see Floyd on top just singing, like, just a sample of While My Guitar Gently Weeps. So it got me a little bit curious to know, like, are they actually going to continue singing more Beatles songs? Is it a thing that's going on? I don't know. It was actually quite coincidental. But other than that, I would have to say, overall, this was actually a really fun episode to watch. Definitely one that is packed with great laughs, some really nice musical moments, and I have to say that they do highlight on the talents of the special guest star. So it was definitely worth watching, and hands down one of the funnier episodes where, like, they pretty much poke fun on the whole superhero motif, especially with how all the Muppets want to be superheroes, but they fail miserably at it. So definitely, it really was a lot of fun to check out. If you guys are a fan of superheroes, this is definitely worth looking at. It's just a lot of fun to watch. It is highly enjoyable, and I definitely had a blast with it. But anyways, that is pretty much it with this episode, so I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. And even though the next episode will not necessarily be about DC, we'll see if we will have a lot more laughs and a lot more great technical achievements with the next episode. But we will only know until next time, so see you later, dudes!